Hello students, welcome to Shikuya. Let's upskill. So today's session is on TCS campus hiring 2021. So we are going to see command line programming in today's session. First of all, we have to see what kind of test pattern for this 2021 TCS hiring process. Previously, there were only one coding question in TCS hiring process, but this year there is some change. They have included two parts. So we are going to see in brief what kind of questions can come in next sessions. But today our focus is on what kind of command line arguments can be used and how to deal with the command line programming. Okay, so go for the next slide, Ajay. Next slide. Yeah. So as you can see on the screen, there is two sections. That means code 1 and code 2. So code 1 will be having 15 minutes, and code 2 will be having twice the time, that is 30 minutes. So which are the languages allowed to program the given problem statement? So you can use C, C++, Python, Java or Perl. So whatever language you are comfortable in, that language you can use. So what is the change? So there will be the code 1, 15 minutes code, that will be of medium level. That means 60 to 70% students can solve this. Those who know basic coding, basic programming, they can solve this 15 minutes question. That will be of less difficulty. But the 30 minutes question, which will be having some brief explanation about the problem statement. From that problem statement, you have to identify what kind of logic you have to build, and after that you have to implement it in whatever preferred language like C, C++, Python, Java or Perl. Okay, so only 30 to 20%, 20 to 30% students will crack this second level coding. Okay, so to get the cutoff, see, this score is not used only by TCS. Even if you will miss something from the TCS, the same score will be used for some other companies also, some other software companies as well as some core companies. So they are going to use this scores for the cutoff levels. Okay, so whatever cutoff level will be there, that is dependent on different companies. Okay, some companies will be require some higher level of coding. They will go for these code 1 and code 2 both as a cutoff. But some companies which are not that much software kind of companies, they will go for code 1 only. Okay, so you have to perform very well in both the sections. That means code 1 as well as code 2. So that's why we have to understand what kind of questions will be asked, and we are going to cover all that kind of questions, that is of type code 1 as well as code 2 in this TCS mentorship program. Okay, next slide. So there will be another section. Total 5 sections will be there. Out of that, there are 2 subject TCS NQTs, subject NQTs, that is programming logic and coding section. So in programming logic, there will be 10 MCQs which will be having 15 minutes time. So what kind of questions that may come in programming logic MCQs? That are dependent on data structures, graphs. Most of the questions will come from the C input output functions, branching, looping and control statements, some arrays, strings or functions. As per the previous examples or previous studies, it will take 6 questions from C programming, which are the basic concepts, basic control statements or looping or branching or functions or strings or arrays. Okay, and 2 questions may come from the data structures part, and 2 questions are from the OOPS concept. So even if you don't know data structures very well, or if you don't know OOPS concepts very well, you can attend 5 to 6 questions very wisely in this programming logic MCQs if you know C properly. Okay, so be focused on that C programming also, so that it is going to cover more and more concepts. Okay, Next. So in today's session, what we are going to see, we are going to see the command line programming. So what is command line programming? So whenever we are going to code any program, for example, if we want to print your name, okay, so what you'll do, you will open your IDE. So it may be Turbo C, it may be Code Blocks, it may be Online GDB, whatever IDE platform you are using, you are going to make one scratch file, you are going to program over it, and you are going to save it as .c extension. And after that, when you built it, so after building the file, there will be generation of object file .o file as well as .exe file. Okay, so in IDE you are going to run whatever program you are going to print. For example, you are printing your name, whatever XYZ name is there, that will be printed on the console of the IDE. Okay, so that is the normal way. Most of the students, 90% of students know how to program using IDE. So if there is no any IDE, you can't program. Okay, but at the time of delivery of the software, we are going to provide only exe file. We are not going to provide any object file or anything. So at that point, that exe file, suppose you are working on code blocks. We'll take an example of code blocks, where in code blocks, if you build your program, you will get .o, that is object file, as well as .exe file of your test. For example, we are having one file test1, okay, and you have saved it like test1.c. Okay, Ajay, please go for the board. I'm going to explain it. Yeah, you can see on the board. Suppose you have created one file to print the name. Okay, so what is inside this program? Suppose a simple program, that is printf xyz. So this is a simple program. Okay, so whenever you are writing this program, you are going to build it. After that, there is one option, that is compile and run. So when you compile your program and then run, this program will be run and result will be executed on the console of that IDE. Okay, so when you build it, there will be generation of test1.c. in that folder where you have created your program. There is test1.o, that is object file, and again there will be test1.exe program. Okay, so this test1.exe is your executable file. So even if you don't have any IDE with you, if you double click this test1.exe, you can run your program. Just a small change that you have to make in the program, that is after that printf xyz, okay, and there will be get ch. So until unless there will be one character will be printed, this will remain on your screen. So this is the second method. And the third method that we are going to discuss today, that is by using command line programming. Okay, so most of the students don't know how to use this command line programming, and there have some command line arguments that we have to use for the command line programming. So where to use this command line programming? We will go to the PPTs, what is given in the PPTs. So previous. Okay, so in command line programming, why this command line programming is used? For fast operation. In some cases, we don't want any graphical user interface. Okay, so command line programming is for the DOS prompt, where you can just put some commands and you will get the output from the written code, okay, or written exe file, or to control your program from the external. Okay, these kind of requirements come in the networking field, where you have to give some inputs or some debugging of the hardware. In embedded systems also they use command line programming to debugging the hardware in Linux and all that. So we have to understand what is command line programming and what is the command line arguments. Okay, we'll go for the next slide. Yeah, So which are the command line arguments we have to use? That is argument V, ARGV. Okay, so this is one kind of pointer. So V is a pointer which holds pointers of type character which points to the arguments passed to the program. So whatever value you are giving on the command line, that value will go in this pointer. Okay, so this pointer is of type character. Okay, what is the type of this pointer? This pointer is of type character. Okay, clear? And there is some syntax where we have to declare this. We have to declare this, that means we have to pass the values inside the function. Okay, so in the main function, okay, in the main function we are going to provide the values. We are going to provide these command line argument values. Okay, one more command line argument is there. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, so argument C. Okay, so this is one more command line argument. So this is one and this one is second. This is one, this one is second. It's command line argument. So why this argument C is used? This is of integer type. This is of int type, and it will count how many number of variables or how many number of integer variables are present in the command line. Suppose, for example, we are giving the inputs on command line as 10 space 20 space 30. Okay, so these three inputs, so argument C, ARGC, will be having total 3. There will be 3 number of arguments on the pointer, on the command line. Okay, so this is argument C. Okay, so ARGV is a pointer array which holds pointers of type character which points to the arguments passed to the program. Okay, so this indicates the program. For example, suppose you are having argument V1. So this indicates, ARGV1 indicates the first value in the command line. This will indicate the first line, first argument in the command line. Okay, go for the next slide. Yeah, so we'll see the syntax. What is the syntax for this command line argument programming? We will see 2 examples so that you can understand how it exactly works. Int main. Okay, so this is a declaration of main function. Okay, in that there will be int C, comma, then it is of character type. The next is of character type and it is a pointer. Okay, it is a pointer. Okay, so this pointer, so this is the basic syntax. Sorry, this is a basic syntax. So so whenever we are using this syntax, there will be some, for example, if you want to add 2 numbers, that is addition of 2 numbers, addition of 2 numbers, we'll take one variable A, another variable B. Okay, so A and B are the 2 variables and third variable is sum, where the results will be stored. So when we are going to take this A at the command line, we have to use one more argument, that is A to I. Okay, so this will convert, this A to I will convert that argument into integer. Okay, so A to I is a library function that converts the string to integer, because whatever given on the command line, that will be considered as a string, that will be considered as a character. So we have to convert that A, that means argument, to integer. Okay, so when program gets the input from command line, string values transferred in the program, we have to convert them to integers for some programs. For example, in this case, we have to add two numbers. So a to I is used, see, a to I is used to return the integer of the string arguments, to return the integer of the string arguments. So whatever integer values we are providing on the command line, that will be returned to this. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Okay, so we'll go for the online GDBs platform and we'll see how we can work with it. We'll work on it. Okay, so you can see the first program. Just open the first program, Ajay. That is not a first program. Yeah, so you can see, yeah, is it visible to all? The program is visible to you, everybody? Okay, is it visible? Visible to all? Okay. Okay, so this is a simple program that we have taken for the normal coding, where we have to add two numbers. So what we have done, we have taken three variables a, b and sum. Okay, and in that program, see, I'll show you line by line. Just a minute. Yeah, so first statement is int a, b and sum, three variables are declared. After that, enter a, so we are going to take the value from the user. After that, there is enter b and then sum a plus b, and we have just shown the output printf. Okay, so we are going to run this. Okay, we are going to run this program. Okay, so we are going to enter the inputs. Yeah, first enter 10. Suppose we'll enter 10 here. Yes. Okay, so we have entered a is equal to 10. Enter. Then b is equal to 20. Okay. Enter. Yeah. So what we'll get? Sum is equal to 30. So this is a normal program where we are taking the input from the user on the output console. Okay, so this is normal way of programming. But in command line programming, what we have to do, we have to use this command line arguments that we have seen before, and we have to convert this program into command line program. Okay, we'll see how to implement it. So yeah, so this is our command line program for the same program what we have done in normal coding. Okay, I'll explain it one line by line what we are doing here. Yeah, just a minute. Okay, is it visible to all of you? Yeah, I'll do one thing. I'll just remove this all. Just delete it. Yeah. Okay. So what we have done, we have considered that is standard library file. Then main function is declared. In the main function, what we are going to see, we are going to use, just a minute. Yeah. So we are going to use one main function. So in that main function, what is the syntax in the main function? Int main. Okay, after that int argument c comma character argument b, that is of character pointer. After that, three variables are considered a, b and sum, that we have considered in previous program also. But the only change is sorry, previously we were using printf scanf statements. Okay, but here we are not going to use it. We are using some command line arguments. So a is equal to a to I argument v1. So what is v1? v1 is whatever value we have provided. Okay, so here we are going to suppose providing at the command line 10, okay, and b is equal to a to I argument v2. So this is the second value. So what value we are providing? We are providing 20, okay. So these values will pass to a in the form of integer, okay, and after that sum is equal to a plus b, printf sum of command line arguments is %d / n sum. So whatever values available at sum, that will be printed. So how to run this program? See, previously what we were doing, we were just running it as a normal program, but the change is, if you are using online JDB platform, use this, okay. So 10 and 20 is the input given, okay. You can change this input also. I will show you how to do this, and after that just give the input and then run, okay. Okay, so you can see the output, sum of command line arguments is 30, okay. Is this clear? We'll take one more example. Yeah, so we'll change these values. Let's make make 30 and 50, okay, 30 space 50, yeah, okay. So these are the two values we have given, and now run the program, okay. So 30 plus 50 will be 80, so expected output is 80, okay. So we'll see our PPTs and we'll compare both the codes. What are the difference between the normal coding and the command line coding? Yeah, please. You can see the difference what we have done in the normal code and in command line program. So here we have taken three variables a, b, c, a, b and some same variables we have used here, but instead of this printf scanf statements, we are taking a to I, that is whatever argument to integer, argument v1 value 1, argument value 2, and then addition of all these. So only this is the difference. Rest of the things are same as the normal program, okay. So there is only 10 to 20% difference in the normal program and the command line program. So we'll see one more example in our command line programming. One of the simplest example. See, today we are going to see just what is command line programming, but in next sessions we are going to work on the different difficult programs in normal way as well as on CLP based, okay. So both the ways you can program at the time of your final exam, okay. So we'll do one more program. So this program is for printing sum of all the command line arguments. So whatever arguments will come, that should get printed at the output, okay. So what changes we have made? The remaining format is same, but only the change is we have considered one variable counter, and we have used one for loop by initializing counter is equal to 1, then counter is less than argument c, okay. So this argc is nothing but how many number of characters are required, okay. So this loop will work for 3 times, and it will increment all the values in some variable, and the counter is plus plus, that is incremented by 1, okay. So sum is equal to sum plus a to I argument v counter. So counter is initialized to 1, so first value will be added into it. So what first value we have considered? We have considered, just a minute, I will show you what value we have considered. Yeah, we have considered first value is 10. So in this way what will happen? Sum is equal to 0 plus 10, so it will become 10, okay. After that again it is less than, counter is less than argument c because 3 arguments are there. Again sum plus, that is 10 plus 20, so it will become 30. Again it will go, counter will be incremented, 2 is less than 3, yes. Again sum is equal to sum plus, that is 30 plus 30, it will become 60. So these are the arguments we have provided, 10, 20, 30. We'll just run it, we will see the results. Yeah, so sum of 4 command line arguments is 60. See, here we have considered all the %d command line arguments is %d, so argument c. So here considering, it is considering from the zeroth location. Okay, so there it is showing 4 command line arguments. Actually, we have given only 3 command line arguments. Okay, so you can understand how to program by using command line arguments. So this is what command line programming is. We are going to see some difficult examples by using command line programming, or by using some other techniques or twists or some functions or pointers. All that kind of questions will be covered in this TCS mentorship program. So don't forget to subscribe to Shikuya channel. Also don't forget to, those are the already Shikuya app users, they can just sign up, or those who are not from the Shikuya app, they can just download it from Play Store and go in the TCS mentorship program 2021. So you can access more free contents, as well as you can access the contents on YouTube channel also. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to like the video. Thank you. Thanks a lot.